Well, no longer quite the ugly duckling of the Mercedes line as I thought it was for a long time. Let's go see what's happening with the 2012 ML350 Bluetec and check the tech. The ML gets a major restyle, as you can see. Its cabin, though, is still about the most luxurious in its class. The lack of a third row is going to irk some buyers. There's no longer a hybrid or a V8, but the smart pick is this 3-liter turbo diesel. Inside, the technology load is solid, but a few things are missing in an insulting way that are a hallmark of high-end German cars. All MLs are going to have this color LCD, but you're not going to get navigation for free. That's an option we'll talk about in a minute. Good size screen, good dot pitch. It's not a really wide aspect ratio like BMW, their arch rival, nor as big, I don't think, as a Lexus, but it's a decent screen. You see we have 3D building rendering here. There's also live traffic because you've got Sirius and traffic services in the same option package that brings you this GPS navigation. Now on the audio side, you've got AM, FM, HD radio, streaming Bluetooth, SD card slot, 10 gigabytes of hard drive space. What you don't get standard though is a backup camera. Everybody who buys this thing would appreciate that. Another gripe I've got about the rear view camera, if you have the radio turned off, which isn't all that unlikely, the backup camera doesn't work. Why doesn't that wake up the screen when I go into reverse, and then when I go back to drive, turn it back to black? Another operational gripe I have is seat heaters. You got to turn these seat heaters on with a micro switch toggle. Turn the car off, go in the grocery store, come back out on some frigid day, and your seat heater resets back to ice cold. They're basically tracking the logic of seat heater to, let's say, rear defroster, which resets every start cycle. Why wouldn't you tie that to the HVAC? That doesn't go back to zero every time I turn the car off. Nobody would accept that. So Premium One package has a lot of stuff you're going to want, from camera to better voice command to enhanced input options. $3,600, kind of chunky. We also have Premium 2, which rolls in Premium 1 and more and goes to $5,370 additional. That gets you this Logic 7 Harman Kardon rig, the keyless go technology, and some fancy lights under here and in the door sills I could live without. I think the diesel is the way to go on the current ML. It's a 3-liter turbo diesel V6, giving you 240 scrawny horsepower, but 455 big old foot-pounds of torque. That gets this 5,000-pound beast up to 60 in 7.3 seconds. That's quite a trick. But the MPG isn't stunning. It's 2027. That probably means 20 overall. It's a big vehicle, heavy as I mentioned. One choice only on the gearbox, 7-speed automatic through a dainty column shifter and then some incongruous sport pedals on the wheel. Now, by the way, this vehicle also uses urea injection down in the exhaust chain to clean up the diesel particulates. That means it has to be refilled occasionally with a fluid called AdBlue. I would add that myself because the dealer may charge you a lot more than you'd like to do it. You can find it on the aftermarket. Now, the reason I like this turbo diesel so much is because it has the kind of power this vehicle needs every day, which is grunt. Not a bunch of high RPM, floaty, peaking horsepower, but the real stuff that gets an SUV around the way you want it to. The ride is kind of rolly, jouncy, bouncy. There is a more firm, adaptive suspension option you can go for. At that point, I'm thinking you've piled on too many thousands in options because you got to put the tech in here, and that's going to come first, in my mind. Now, some driver assistance tech. We have in here for $850 a combination of passive blind spot notification and lane departure notification. If you drift across the lane, the wheel vibrates. If you have someone in your blind spot, you get a little icon that turns red. If you signal into them, it starts to beep at you as well. Go up to about $3,000 and those become active technologies that will prevent you from drifting or lane changing into someone. It's a big delta in cost. I think I'd stay with the passive stuff. Okay, a 2012 ML350 with a diesel. That's called the Bluetec model. It's going to run you about $51,300 delivered, and then you're going to go $5,000 to $8,000 more in big chunky packages to get this guy done up CNET style. It's definitely the class leader for luxury and comfortable ride. If you're looking for sporting, you're looking elsewhere.